timekeeper and the train say it's 7 o'clock, so I'll call this special meeting of City Council to order and ask that you join me in a moment of silence, please. I know the train won't cooperate. Thank you. Let's respect the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The single issue that we have to discuss here this evening in a special meeting is the Buckhannon Farmers Market in the Jawbone parking lot. And I had the idea that we'd have a pretty good turnout, and we've tried to do this before with a committee, and we're reporting back to council. Council's making this decision. So we get a chance for y'all to talk to council, and it's my sincere hope that this evening before we leave, we will put this to rest, and we'll have a plan for how we're going to operate the market. So is there anyone who wants to speak to us?
I guess I do.
Okay.
We just started on this. We put all the statistics together for last year, and we have passed those out, and everybody can look at those. And I have called just about every farmer that I can get a hold of. We also have started writing some bylaws and some things that we would like to see happen. And we are going to entrust these to Gary and Steve, and who is on our board, going to be on our board of directors. And hopefully when they go over it, then we can finalize it and get it down to where we need it to be.
Great. I think the question before us this evening is what our hours of operation will be. When are we going to have the farmers market open? And I've said to different ones of you, first, how many of you actually are sellers at the market? Okay. How many of you are buyers? Okay. So that gives us a look at who we're, and I think we have representation. We cannot, I think, on the part of the city, we cannot allow that parking lot to be occupied from daylight to dark 6 days a week. We can't do that. So we have to come to some terms. And I understand y'all would like to sell every day, that there's some produce that you come up with. I grew up on a farm. Some of those things can't wait. And does anyone propose how we would go about doing this? If Becky?
I don't necessarily have a proposal.
Bethany, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm used to it. I don't necessarily have a proposal, but I just wanted to make a couple things stated real fast. Louise and Stacy were glorious ladies last year and surveyed about everybody that came to the farmers market that morning. I had several surveys at my shop at Hometown Market, in which we surveyed people there too. Stacy cut statistics, got to Louise, got to me, and I'm the one who typed up the farmers market survey based off what I found. I did the statistics, I tried to give percentages, things like that. I personally own a restaurant, and we come down there, you guys probably see me most mornings. You know, we set our menu based off the farmers market. We try to go as local and seasonally as we can. We're a small shop and we're able to do that. I've also talked to a few other restaurant people in town, and based off what happens this evening, and council, plug your ears necessarily because I'm telling them, but if it is decided, say it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or whatever council decides this evening, a couple days a week, there is a good group of restaurants in town that are willing, if you have produce and you want to put it in the back of the truck, you can drive, say, we can work something out between 9 and 11. We know to expect you. And we're going to be happy to take some of that produce off your hands. If you come visit us, you know, if you're just getting ready to plant, we might even say, hey, you know, we would really love to have some yellow tomatoes. You know, so that's an option too. And I just want you all to know that is on the table. And so if anybody's to be yelled at statistics, it's right here. Just saying. Thank you. And thank you guys for having us this evening.
Okay, I'm pleased that you all came and
We are really hoping that the farmer's market gets off on a good foot this year.
yes,
We want to make this thing work.
and we do too. We want to make it work too. Bethany, almost said Becky again. I've known both those girls since they were pups. But she said like a Monday, Wednesday, the Friday night affair is not the farmer's market, but I think you're welcome there on Friday night to sell what you have. Would you want another evening during the week besides the Friday? I think if I was in your shoes, and I'm just speaking from my own experiences, that a Monday morning sale would be more valuable to you than a Tuesday morning sale, or not.
Well, our times that seem to be the busiest at the farmer's market, and Rich probably knows this as well as I, is Friday. They're getting vegetables for the weekend. That's a big day for the farmer's market. And then again, Tuesday was always a big day for us.
Okay. So
Is there any other one, Thelma, that anybody can, Tuesday and Friday?
Those are the regular hours we've always had, so.
Yeah.
So if we had a Tuesday morning, and the Friday evening, is that sufficient for y'all?
Let me address the Friday evening thing a little bit. Create Buckhannon, not the city, is doing the Friday evenings. And that's going to be by invitation, not just everybody. Reason being is they want a mixture of things. They don't want all produce. They want some crafts, they want some music, they want some art, they want some produce, they want some meats, they want a little bit of everything. So that's going to be, there's applications available and everybody's welcome to apply, but they're not necessarily going to take everybody. They're trying to keep a balance so that it's not all one thing or all something else. It's more of, like I would say, a birthday party. You want everybody there to a limit. You can't, I hope it grows and you have more and more people. So I'm not sure if you want to sell in the evening, you may want to do another time. Now, we had a Tuesday evening time last year. Very few people showed up in terms of producers. I kept a count of people that showed up in the mornings. Usually I took a count every morning at 7 o'clock, and that varied considerably by day of the week. Fridays were always a lot busier than the other days. Now, near the end of the summer, I had to start teaching again, so I didn't count, but I would drive by and just kind of get a feel for how many people were there on my way to the college. Saturday was, I don't think as busy as Friday was. Just kind of observation there, but it was busy as well, but not near as busy as Friday. Friday seemed to be always your best day. And we got kind of a late start last year, but are we getting an early start this year, or is it, I mean, in town, things have really moved, almost a month ahead of where they would normally be in terms of growing this year.
50 quarts of strawberries already.
Okay. Or, somebody else was saying we can have some actually have local strawberries at Strawberry Festival, which is going to be pretty unusual.
We have had the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So, Bethany?
Sorry to be a loud mouth. At my shop, we have a lot of people that are very supportive of the farmers market that visit us. And several of them couldn't make the meeting this evening, but had asked that on their behalf I say just a few words. First of all, they are very grateful and appreciative of the great agriculture in this county and everything you guys should do for it. They're also looking forward to having some younger farmers who also couldn't be here this evening, who are attending either Create Buckhannon meetings or have evening work, that are excited to be part of the farmers market. We're talking kids from FFA all the way through, late 20s, early 30s, that want to learn from you. They want to apprentice with you and help pick raspberries and whatever they can do. However, my customer base does say, based off them, they love Saturday mornings. It helps prepare for the weekend. But a lot of the reasons they didn't come Saturday mornings were because it started so early and their kids were still asleep or things like that. And they would love to have Saturday, still morning, just maybe a little later morning into early afternoon. At my shop, I have discovered we used to open at 8, nobody comes. We open at 9, nobody comes. 10 o'clock, people start rolling out of bed and get moving. That's my personal example. However, there are also many farmers, or not many farmers, many customers who said that you should be able to sell 6 days a week, but they also were very interested in some evening. Reason being, there were a lot of professionals that said I would stop by, I would get corn, I wouldn't have a place to put it when I went inside, it went, got too hot in the car, or they wanted to come at some point in an evening and support you guys, but that was the only time they could get. Based off the surveys taken last year, probably 75% of those that were passed out of the farmer's market, you're already only talking to your morning customer. And I think that there are very, very many people that want to support you, but can't always get down there early morning. I realize that's best for you. Your fruit's not going bad, your lettuce isn't wilting in the early mornings, but you do have a lot of support out there and people who want to grow with you and help you grow, but sometimes it is difficult for them to get there in the mornings. There's also a lot of people that love mornings. So that's just something to consider when making the decision and the proposal to council. There are a lot of people that would come, some evening, afternoon, Saturday, extended morning hours, however you want to do it. But you do have a great fan base, customer base in town you're just not able to reach with just set morning hours from 7 to 10 or 7 to 11. So it's just something to consider, not forcing anything on anybody, just stating a few things that I've heard from my shop. We support you and they'll support you no matter what. But you do have a lot more people out there who want to support you and grow with you, but they just can't due to their schedules. Thank you.
Anybody got a comment on this? Give us some suggestions. Tell us when you want to have that farmer's market open.
Thelma, what did we have? We had Tuesday and Thursday. Was that what we started out?
Tuesday, Friday.
We added Saturday.
Then Saturday.
And then Saturday, if you wanted to come on Saturday morning.
Some people want to come Saturday.
Well,
Then we-
let me put it to you like this. Since Create Buckhannon is having their thing on Friday evening, is there a problem with the farmers going down there on Friday morning? We'll be out of there by noon or a little after.
They're not showing up till 5, so.
Yeah, they're not coming in until 5.
If we had Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday,
Yeah, that was good when it was like that.
And those are the days that the older people remember. And that's, if you change it, they don't know when they're supposed to come.
So what hours do you want?
well, I think that,
Here's a situation that occurs for us. The parking lot is, I think, better situated for Main Street now than it was. And our businesses up on Main Street start opening up about 9 o'clock. And if we don't have parking sometime in the morning, that could be a problem for us, for other people. So I kind of lean against going to noon or 2 o'clock on those days, but we might be able to get by with that. If you had maybe 3 weekdays from 7 until say 10, would that serve? Heads are turning. No?
That's not long enough time.
So you need from 7 until noon?
But easily,
Tuesdays, Thursdays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays?
Not 7 on Saturdays, I don't think.
Later on Saturdays?
I think Bethany is
Yeah.
right with later on Saturdays.
10 to 2?
Yeah, that would be a
Like
good time
that.
on Saturdays because we're in there early and we set until 9, 10 o'clock before customers really start rolling
It
in.
just
10
depends.
to 2 or 9 to 2?
I used to sell a lot of stuff at 5 o'clock in the morning.
On Saturday?
Yeah, on
Really?
Saturday, any day you come.
Oh, because on Saturdays usually it's,
I might recommend for the public, it might be easier if we keep the start time the
Depends
same
on
for the
somebody
3 days,
wants
even
to take
if
something
people
out.
don't roll in at the same time, I don't know.
Take
just
it home and then they
make it easier to
come
come.
and go to work. And lots of people work.
So what are you thinking? What times, Kenny?
Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to noon? 7 to noon on
Okay.
Tuesday and Friday?
well, if you want to keep the time same, because he mentioned keeping it same. I mean, I don't have a problem with 7 o'clock on Saturdays till noon, but you
But,
are talking about extending it, so maybe even on Saturdays going it a little bit longer than noon.
Saturdays
Wouldn't
is
be an
not
issue on Saturdays.
Right.
as much of a problem, I don't think. Yes, ma'am.
We've had people come even before 6 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
And then we had to tell them, no, we can't sell till the courthouse clock strikes 7 o'clock.
Right.
Well, what are they
It
gonna
was that
think?
mean market master
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah,
See, I think that you serve your customers or you don't have customers. I mean, I'm not a businessman.
Comes, you ought to be able to
Yeah.
sell to them.
But I'm not a businessman, but I've worked in some businesses, and if you don't serve your customers, you don't have any. So we have to keep the customer as the first concern. But according to this survey, which said that a lot of folks commented that Saturday times should be from 9 to 1 or 10 to 2 or something like that. So I kind of hold for that
Well, I kind of think.
later
that-
hours on Saturday.
And I know what it's like raising kids, and when your kids are off on Saturday, you can't get them out of bed.
Right.
Plus you want to sleep in yourself on Saturday. And I think 9 would be good on
I think
Saturday.
so too.
9 to 2?
Yeah.
My observation, Kenny,
Yes.
is that if you do the Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, you got Sunday and Monday, there's 2 days there, and then after Tuesday, there's Wednesdays and Thursdays and 2 days there. And this is just my preference. When I used to shop at the farmer's market, I prefer early mornings myself, or my friends would. And, maybe 2 days between each time you're open is too long of a period not to have produce there. You might want to consider Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, or maybe Mondays, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays.
That sounds good too,
I-
Monday,
I
Thursday.
I think, we put a lot of money into the city has, into this operation, and it's attractive. I mean, I think it's going to be, one of the things we did is we want people to come downtown, and people will not just maybe buy produce, but, do some other shopping downtown. And I hope it's a real drawing card for the city, and we're going to do a lot more hopefully in the future to attract people. But I would be for having 4 days rather than just 3 days. And I think when we shut it down at noon, there may be some people that want to buy their stuff between 12 and 1 o'clock if they have a lunch hour. I think whatever we do, we need to be flexible and see how it works out, and if we need to adjust it at some point in time, we need to sit down again and take a look at what's going on.
I do have a couple of vendors that want to come in and, as we have done in the past, furnish a meal at noon. And they, I think in the past, have typically bought a lot of things from the farmer's market in order to prepare that. So they've already approached us, and I said, I'll know more after this meeting,
And
so.
we want that too, because
Yeah.
we could get something to eat there,
Yeah.
if we
So you want a lunch meal?
Yeah.
Yeah, staying down there all that time, you need something to eat or drink.
Kenny?
well, the reason for opening early, especially in the middle of, after the market gets going a while, people started canning, all those folks like to come and get their produce early in the morning and can that day. So, you know, if you don't open early enough for them to come and do that, then they have to wait and can't try to come, they'll try to get it next day. They like to work, what they get today, they like to can today. And so, you know, we sell a lot of merchandise to people that do canning.
I think there's a lot of items that I bought last year that were ready to take home and eat. In fact, some of them didn't make it home. They ended up at City Hall and they were gone. But, you know, I think that's, to some extent, that's where a lot of folks are appreciative of those people that bring not just the fruits and vegetables and so on, but actually bring value-added products. I mean, there's some wonderful pies and rolls and everything else down there in last year, and I think that really adds a lot. But you do need a variety, certainly.
Right here.
I kind of agree with Councilman Thomas that we should stay open till 1, because there's a lot of people that get off of work and come during their lunch break to buy from us too. I sell a lot of produce between 12 and 1. After 1 o'clock, then it's not worth staying.
Yeah, that's the only time of the week that I could actually shop probably.
I grew up in southern New Jersey, and they had truck farms all over the place, and they would sell produce, and they would be basically open at 6 in the morning, and early afternoon they didn't have any more produce to sell. You know, Kenny, I'll just throw out a suggestion anyway, and I think they should open up at 6 in the morning if they want to. I mean, we'll see how they feel, but I'd go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and
That would be wonderful.
see how that works out.
You got that more money, you gotta work on Sunday to get it ready.
You do.
I think we need to be consistent as far as what time you're opening and closing for every day, because you said you sell during the lunchtime. So my thought is whatever days you choose, it should be 7 to 1 for every day. And then, is anybody interested in an evening? That's another thing. Here's a thought just to throw out. Mrs. White just made the comment of you have to pick on Sunday to be there Monday morning. Why not offer Monday as an evening market? You still have, then you're not having your 2 days apart. If anybody wants to come on Monday, then they don't have to pick on Sunday. It can be the evening market. You can keep the Tuesday, which is what the older folks are used to having, the schedule that they're used to following, and then do what Councilman Thomas said with the other days, but make Monday an evening market that caters to the people that Bethany has talked to that have said, you know, we'd like to come after work, and run it from like 4:30 to 6:30 or something, and that way, or 5 to 8, you know, that way people that are getting off work can come and get the produce they need, and we can pick it during the day if we want to come to the evening market. And if you advertise it, I think it will work. And if it starts off that way, as these are the market hours. And the other thing I've noticed is, this is my 4th, 5th year doing this, and some of the people come early. You guys are there before the chickens get up.
Yes.
You know, why can't, the city isn't losing anything out of the start time, so why can we not say 6 o'clock, 6 to 1, or whatever time you want to get there? Mr. and Mrs. White may want to be there to sell at 6. I may not want to be there till 7. But if we say the market opens at 6, then you're there and you're selling, and you can run it from 6 to 1. That caters to the lunch crowd. That keeps the early risers that are there at 6:30 wanting to buy stuff before they go to work to get their things. It allows us a little bit of flexibility of what time we come in, if we want to be there at 6 to start selling, or if we want to come in a little bit later at 7, because it doesn't say everybody has to be there at 6. It just says the market is open on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 6 to 1, and Mondays from 5 to 8. You've got your hours, you can get them out to the people, they know what's going on, and then you have it set. And if somebody...
And that's fine, I don't have any problem with that. I think one of the items that a lot of people complained to me about was going down there when the hours were advertised. And there either wasn't anybody there, or there was one person there or two people there, and they wouldn't buy.
And I think that, you know, we need to get these hours established now so that they can get out to not only the consumer, but us and ourselves. Because I know I could easily do a Monday evening. My husband's home. My kids would love it if I did a Monday evening because I wouldn't have to drag them out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, and I'm sure that there's probably some others that
We
Bethany
we're
knows.
closed on Mondays, so I can come down Monday evening.
So, you know, I think if you get the word out early, then you're gonna get the people there to sell and to buy. But it's all in getting it out to the
Well,
public.
we've got a lot of vehicles to get the word out. I'm not sure all people listen to all sources, but, you know, the press is here. We've got Channel 3, we've got Facebook, we've got websites. I mean, we try to spread the word as much as we possibly can, but we got started last year with whatever we agreed on, then it changed. And, you know, it's pretty tough at times to stay up with it, but I do agree that whatever you establish, but if you establish the hours, I think you gotta think about trying to keep a reasonable client, reasonable source that you're going through.
And I think listening to everybody here, the hours that have been proposed that Councilman Thomas suggested, and even throwing in the Monday nights, I think are reasonable with everybody that's sitting here. I haven't really heard, you know, other than the start time would like to be tweaked a little bit, but.
The only thing that I have with Monday evening, if it's 90 degrees, 85 or 90, your things are gonna
Will.
And they're not
One
moving.
of the rationale behind the design of the new farmer's market area is to put white up there. It reflects a lot of heat compared to the dark canopies that were on the other one. They're also much more open, so heat should be able to dissipate a lot easier.
The only thing we can do is try.
That's right. Now, I would suggest you kind of coordinate your activities so you're not spread out here and there throughout the area. But the suggestion was they wanted to be closer to the post office. So how about we start at the post office end and just, you know, as people arrive, they can fill it up. And if there's an empty space later in the day, you know, fill that one up. But kind of keep it, because there's quite a few spaces down there.
And we had done that even downtown at the other market, as people would leave and there were people in the sun, we'd move their stuff down so that we all tried to stay in one centralized location.
I heard a comment about Saturday morning hours. I mean, there was some idea about keeping the hours consistent, opening at 6 each morning, but what I've heard on Saturday mornings, you can open at 6, but you don't get customers until 10. I don't have a problem having inconsistent hours so long as we start with a set of hours and it sort of stays the same throughout the summer. So I would think a start time on Saturday need not be 6 o'clock, because there again, you'll have those 5 people who come down there at 7:30 and no one's there, and you know, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, a lady that owns a prospector shops at the farmer's market. And when she came down last year, she told me, she said she'd be glad to put it in there gratis, free gratis, in the prospector for us. And I'm sure she'll do that again for us, because I didn't ask her for it, she just offered that. Now I'd like to make a statement, if I can, about those canopies. I'm afraid you're gonna be disappointed when I complain. They're not gonna do much for us. They're too high.
Let's give them a try.
Well, but, you know, you give them a try, but I'm telling you now, they're not gonna keep the sun off of the produce. They're too high. And they're not gonna do much for the rain either. And the sun comes from the east, and it's gonna hit there. Them canopies aren't gonna do anything until the sun gets up in the sky near noon. Excuse me for telling you that.
That's what he really needed.
But
Let's give them a try.
but that's the way it is. I'm telling you, we know that from the other market. The sun rises over there.
Last I checked, yeah.
And
If it doesn't, we got
it hasn't
problems.
changed. So it's gonna hit that market. I mean, you know, most of the day on the ends, and then when it gets, if you have evening on the other end, you're gonna get it. But I've registered that complaint, so I'm happy.
So, are we agreed that Monday from 5 until 8 p.m. Tuesday and Friday from 6 until 1 p.m. And Saturday from 9 until 2 p.m.
Although I consider it Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday also. And forget Thursday, because you got basically 2 days between Monday and.
Well, they've
They're the
said
ones
that Tuesday is the morning that's busy, and that's when people are used to coming. So we're gonna stick with Tuesday, right?
Right.
So Monday evening, that'll be the evening event. Tuesday morning 6 to 1, Friday 6 to 1, and Saturday from 9 until 2. That's going to be our hours. Mike will point out there on the map where we're talking about, and we're going to kind of have a little honor system here. This first spot that we want you to come into is up there on that end, right? Closest to post office. First one in takes that one, second one the next, and so on, and leave the rest of the parking spaces for your customers.
Yeah, excuse me. I do have another question. Are we going to be able to back in under the
Absolutely. That was designed so you can back
It
in.
looks like it's appearing that way.
Now, it's designed for you to back in. You will
Spend a
be,
lot of time figuring that out.
yeah, you back in. You back in. We're going to put signs up there to make people pull in to park.
Okay, yeah.
But you're welcome to back in. That's what it was all about. And you can back clear up to the curb, or you can back up and save room for a table, however you want to do it. I don't think that's a problem. And I don't think you can reach the pilings there with a vehicle. They're set back far enough that you can't back into them.
I see.
Unless you got one of those long snouted trailers of some kind. But
Mayor, I personally think 9 o'clock's too late on Saturday morning. I'd like to maybe take a poll with the farmers over that. Just from experience being in business myself, and I'm busy on Saturdays, a lot of people go shopping, go get their groceries early in the morning, and then go do what they want to the rest of the day. And I think 9 o'clock is too late to start it.
I will tell you, last year though, early morning Saturday was not popular. It may have been later on in the summer when I started back to teaching, but most of the time Saturday was pretty quiet in the morning.
yeah, I thought I heard some of you say that Saturday morning early was just not worth going there.
Yeah, it was a waste of time.
Waste of time. 9 o'clock. How many of you favor 9 o'clock for Saturday? How many of you want it earlier on Saturday?
I'm coming, I want to come early.
I
No
mean-
sense waiting till 9 o'clock.
There again, if you want to make it 8 to 2, that gives us the
Anyway,
flexibility
I'll
for
be-
Kenny to come at 8, us to come at, if you build some flexibility into the hours and say, the market opens at 8, then, if I'm up and want to come at 8, the hour, it's open, but yet, you have that little bit of flexibility built in there.
I think the only problem comes in is when the customer's there at 8 and there's
But
two
on a
people. and-
Saturday, it's not. I mean, really, Saturdays are slow until.
Of course, we don't have any children to get up, so
Yeah.
we don't know about that, but we like to get up early. Get at it.
It wouldn't hurt them to get up on Saturday because they get up the rest of the day. The way I look at it. I used to get up on Saturday when I was a kid.
Well, but the vote was 9 o'clock.
Okay.
The vote was 9 o'clock on Saturday. And that seems to be the
What are
choice
you
of
going to do that space
the,
before 9 o'clock?
Nothing.
excuse me?
I mean, what are you going to do that space before
Kenny,
9
I think the point is that we're trying to establish hours and advertising so that people will come when you're there.
Well, I understand.
And
I'm ready.
I want to tell you a story about a good friend of mine, lives in Colorado, and he was coming through to visit, and he and his wife were driving by, and the sign was out there at Wendy's Farmers Market, and let's go see the farmers market. And that was one of those days when there was one person sitting down there with a couple baskets of berries. And he laughed about our farmers market, because that's not a farmers market. And we don't want, and you don't want, that kind of a reputation for your farmers market. You want to publish your hours and have people there. That's why you start selling at a particular time, because if we say 6 o'clock and somebody's sitting there at 5 and they start selling, it's not fair to the person who plans to be there when the market's supposed to open. So I think the whole idea of the marketing strategy and some of the people we've talked with about how to make the market work better for you and work better for the customers is to have hours and everybody comes. And the customers come and the sellers come and you do your business and it should work better. The other places around the state and around the country are telling us that it works better when you do it that way. And we can't have rogue elements here. We can't, I don't think it'll work. It will defeat the purpose. If we don't all comply with the same rules, start at the same time, an honor system where I don't think we need to hire a market master to be down there and crack the whip or shoot the gun or ring the bell. You can all hear the courthouse clock. If we agree on starting times, when it bongs, you start selling. If people are browsing through your stuff, fine, I understand some people will come early, but you don't sell until the clock strikes. And I know some of you don't agree with that, but I think for the most part you do. If we're going to establish hours, then we comply with it. We all agree. Gary?
There are a lot of ways to get this word out, but is there any way we can get a pretty large sign just right at the market indicating these hours? Because people, just like a store would have. Because this gets confusing real quick.
I think we could put some signs up. But if we put signs up with the hours on them and the days, we're not going to spend the money for a sign and then not comply with it. Not comply with it.
Is there a way, when you're talking signs, to get a sign like out near the interstate directing people to where the farmer's market is?
I think there's an opportunity to do some signage around which would direct people to the farmer's market. We had a group of people that studied the parking situation in downtown here for a period of time, and what we concluded was we don't have a parking problem, we have a signage problem. Nobody knows where the parking is. And we still have a signage problem. But in order for us to make this work, we need to have proper signage. People need to know where the farmer's market is. You love to have people who are visitors to town, who are not familiar with town, come and shop with you. Yeah.
We've had some.
Sure you do. And we want to encourage that. And because we want to encourage that for all of our downtown businesses. We want people to come. And that's the whole point of this whole thing. And we're trying to do a lot of work to make our downtown more attractive. If you'll give me just a minute, we have a plan to turn a couple of the stoplights on a four-way flash and make those four-way stops, because research across the country indicates that we will have better traffic flow and it will be more pedestrian friendly. One of the local businessmen kind of gave me a shake one day, and he said, you know, every customer of every business in downtown is a pedestrian. And you got to think about that maybe, because yeah, you come park your car, but then you get out and you walk to shop these businesses. So we try to make the downtown as pedestrian friendly as we can make it. The projection you see over here, the Buckhannon group has great ideas about how to improve the walkway from Main Street down to the farmer's market, to Jawbone Park. That's not a very friendly place to walk if you go, because on the left side there's no sidewalk, on the right side it's that wide and the traffic's right there, so it's not friendly. We want to make it friendly. How we do it, I don't know. We're working on it. And so the whole idea is to make our downtown more attractive, more events. The farmer's market certainly can be a great attraction if we do it right, if we manage it, if we organize it and manage it right. It can be a great attraction, and I think it'll increase your business. I firmly believe that, or I wouldn't be defending our position. And, but if we can agree on these times, and I'll say them again, Monday evening from 5 to 8 p.m., Tuesday 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., Friday 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., and Saturday 9 to 2. And that's when we have our market open. And we can hear the clock on the courthouse. If it quits working, we'll go get Willie and make him fix it. Make him stand up there with a hammer and his wristwatch. But if we're agreed on that, I think I'm ready to ask one of the council members to make a motion to that effect, and we'll make that the official times and days for the farmers market for this summer, and we'll adjust it if we need to next year. Because if somebody's going to do some signs, we're not going to go paint over the signs and change it.
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made. And second. Question.
I know in the past years, I've had people tell us we have one of the best farmers markets around. But I did not hear that last year. Everybody was grumbling about last year,
I know.
including me.
I think with the facility that we have now, that it can be very good. It can be one of the better markets in the whole region.
No more porta potty.
Yeah, no more porta potties. No more porta potties.
Well, we have people that come from Lewis County and come from Webster County down here to the market.
Great.
And used to come from Harrison County on a bus.
Yeah.
On their senior citizen bus. Used to come up here and visit us. Of course, they started having the market down there, so I guess they go down there now.
Kenny, I think after last year, with as many problems as we've had, I think everybody is willing to give it a try.
Right.
That's all.
We're all willing to give it a try, and if we need to let's give it this season and let's see how it works. And we'll meet again. I assure you we will meet again. We will have this same meeting after you're through selling, sometimes about the time the snow flies, and we'll go through this and see what the pluses and minuses are, and we'll take another look at
See if there's any more suggestions that we can do better or what we can do.
Ready for the question?
Can I ask a question? Are we going to set the months for this? Like from
No, I
June
think
the
we're going to
1st
let.
to
I think we're going to let them.
The weather.
Weather's going to determine how long they
Okay.
sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got questions. Them pavilions you made, whoever is on the right side of the third slot is going to have the sun on them from about 10 o'clock on. There's no shade on that. I was over there the other day selling berries at the old market, and I was looking over there, and the two booths on the left are okay, but the one on the right, there's sun shining in there.
Well,
A good portion of the morning. What's that?
The top's not on it yet.
No, this was the ones that had the tops on it. If you go over there,
Okay, well.
you go over there tomorrow at 10 o'clock and you
Well,
can
you know,
see.
those are some other things we can toy with, but the question before the council right now is to approve this schedule, and Rich has it noted. I'll repeat it again before we vote. It's Monday from 5 to 8 p.m., Tuesday from 6 to 1 p.m., Friday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. That's the motion. Are you ready for the question?
I have one comment to make. We will approve the information and the hours that you have asked for. I just want to make, I believe that's what I'm hearing tonight.
That's what we've agreed to.
You're telling us what you want, and then we're more than willing to support that. I hope it all works. We want it to be a success, but by no means do I want anyone there to feel that we're mandating, dictating, or imposing hours that you haven't told us that you want. Make sure that's very clear.
Ready for the question? All in favor of the motion signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We've established those hours and those days, and I wish you well. I honestly wish you well, and I'm glad we did it this way. We don't have to banter back and forth. We came before the council, we got a decision. And there is no other item on our agenda. Do you have comment?
I got a question.
Yeah.
When can they start using this?
Right after
Strawberry
Festival's out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after Strawberry Festival. You know, we're still doing some work down there, but
You may have to stay out of their way, depending on where they're at
Yeah.
and what the weather is,
Right.
but certainly as soon as, it's
yeah.
basically complete. There's a little touch-up to do here and there, but
Gary, you have another comment?
Yeah, I mean, for the future, and this county is unique in that it has a lot more growers than most counties. We did lose a few last year, but I don't think that's a real problem.
Hopefully they'll come back.
As far as we becoming commercial growers, we still need to, we have a long way to go as far as extending our seasons. We still have way too much concentration right at certain times of the year. But you seem to be allowing us to make decisions, or the farmers make decisions on when we open up and close. Do you think we can be open up before Strawberry Festival? I know we're going to have to stay away from Strawberry Festival, but can we open up?
it's completely occupied with rides and everything else.
No, I mean
this time of year now.
right now, until Strawberry Week.
That's like,
Next week.
we got 2 days.
No, I'm talking about in
Next
another-
year.
Oh, for future, absolutely. Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, I understand what you're saying now. Like next year, we have a early spring and we've got stuff coming.
We
Yeah,
should
well,
be, with extended seasons, with high tunnels going into the county, we should be selling things at least in May, maybe some in April, that are fresh.
I think we can make that work.
You got like greenhouses now too out there.
Greenhouses around too.
Yeah.
And I want to confess that all the time I spent down there last summer has actually rubbed off on me. I'm going to grow some tomatoes and herbs in my backyard. Just want you to know, you got to.
You've never done that before?
Yeah, I have, but not since I was a little kid,
Good
So
boy.
Rich, are you gonna come see us for bait woods this summer again?
You better believe. Can't tell me too much, though. I got to keep it away.
That's one reason I like to be selling now, is selling bedding plants, baskets and everything.
And I don't have any problem with that. I mean, if we've been doing that before, it's just that Strawberry Festival this
Oh,
year.
no,
is
I
just-
apologize for nothing's going to happen this year.
Well, but why don't you get together and have and Strawberry Festival's in charge of this, not us. Set up a booth someplace. Last list I saw, they had a couple of them open.
Well, we talked about, I'm on Strawberry Board too.
Okay.
I have talked to them.
I think that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be good to pass out flyers about it.
Pass out flyers, then you're advertising your time and selling something.
Well, we've completed our business. I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.